Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Blaster carb here on the table. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna rebuild it. We're gonna clean it out, replace everything, all the moving parts in there, except the float. Basically I want you guys to tag along. If you're having issues with your carb and won't start, bogs down, won't rev up, I'll do a little bit of explanation how to adjust, and yeah, stay tuned. So here it is, guys. This is a Blaster stock carb. So I'm going to completely replace everything on there. So I'm gonna take it apart, starting with the cap. We'll take that off. Just slides right out. Then we're gonna take it all apart, starting with the 4 bolts right here. But before we get to these 4 bolts, we'll just take this off because we have to use a 12mm wrench. So that way when we try to wrench it off, we don't put much pressure on the needle and the floats and stuff here. We'll just take that off and then we'll put it on back last. Tools that we'll need to get this job done. So we'll need a Phillips, flatheads, Allen wrenches. I'll be replacing the hardware on the bottom of the bowl. So with this Phillips, I'm gonna put these stainless steel bolts because these tend to strip out and it's hard to get them off later on when you want to take out the bowl and clean it out. 12mm wrench that will take off the choke. The kit I'll be using, it's a Moose made in Japan. Yeah, we'll be replacing everything in this kit. We'll have some WD-40, brakes, parts cleaner, some towels, cleaning bin, compressed air to blow everything out. So now we took the bowl off and the choke. Now what we gotta do is pop this pin out right here, slide it out, take a small screwdriver. I'm gonna use a Phillips right here, and you push this dowel pin out, it will slide out. It's holding the float and this needle. So we're gonna put this all aside. Make sure you don't bend the float. Also, we'll take off this old gasket. Now we'll start taking off all these jets, everything that's securing all the hardware. Also, you'll need some kind of pliers to grab a hold of these grommets. Right here, you can tell, O-ring right here, it's messed up. It got pinched or something. Now we'll grab a flathead and we'll drop it down here and pull out the pilot jet. We were already missing the main jet from here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one in the kit. That's the main jet. Or we could try to push this out. See all this junk right up in here? There's one more piece right here. This is kind of the idle screw airflow mixture. We'll take it out. Make sure you don't lose the spring behind it. Might need to reuse it. There you have it. Let's get to cleaning this thing out. So we're gonna spray it out with brake cleaner, and then we're gonna blow everything out with compressed air. Now we're ready to put this back all together. This does not come in the kit. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna push it back in. Basically push it in from the top. It's grooved, you can tell right there. I got it started. Spray some WD-40 so it would slide a little easier. There you go. Now we're gonna find our pilot jet right here. Drop it in there. Be careful you don't tighten it too hard because these are bronze. You can easily strip them out, especially the jet. This is the jet. So I need to go find me a washer that I've lost from this one to fit up in here, and then this thing goes on top. It secures this thing from moving down. We'll install our needle, make sure it's all good. Now we'll spray some WD-40 right here. All right, push that in. Make sure you don't mess up that O-ring. So we'll slide this over that top groove. Tighten this screw. And next we'll grab the needle. Make sure the rubber grommet is all good on the tip. There's no dirt in here. We'll slide this thing on here. It's in the center. There's no wrong way to put this on. Some people think, oh, this is, maybe it has to go this way or this way. It's in the center. This line is in the center of this little pin. And make sure this pin in here pushes down. So basically when you look, that line, my camera will focus, basically right there, see? You can put it on this way or this way on the float. It doesn't matter, guys. As long as you make sure everything's clean. Then you slide it on here. You slide it in the hole first. Then you grab your dowel pin, you slide it in. just like that. We'll have to also replace the rubber grommet O-ring on the choke. Slide the new one back on. So what we have left is the adjustment screw. What we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten it all the way down. To set it to basically stock settings, you have to back it off 2.5 turns. So 1, 2, then a half, just like that. That's stock settings. That's where you can start off when you start your bike, and then you can slowly adjust it when you're testing in the low, quarter throttle, half throttle, and then full throttle. Half throttle will be adjusting your pilot jet, and then that's gonna tell you if you need to go up or down on the jet. If it's leaning out, you'll do a plug chop. And just the same as a half throttle, and half throttle, you'll be adjusting your main jet, which goes here. So if your plug, you'll be doing your plug chop, and your plugs will look faded out like white. That means you have to go richer. That means you have to add more fuel. That means you have to put a bigger jet. So let's say if you add some mods like a pipe, open intake, or you change that air intake, you'll have to change all that. If you add pipe, and let's say you add reeds, that's all going to contribute to adjusting. So let's say if you do a full throttle pull and you come and do a plug chop, and that means you'll have to adjust your needle. Then you can change the clips on there. You can tell by looking at this needle. Basically, you start off for stock in the center, and then you can jump around. To do a plug chop, the best way I've learned, a full throttle pull, and you're coming back, and make sure that you let go and turn off the four-wheeler right away. That way you can roll to the spot, pull the plugs, and you can check to make sure. If it's rich, that means it's going to be a very dark, very oily looking, wet. But if it's lean, you're going to look like white. It's just going to look really white. What you want to have is like a coffee color. That means it's a very good burning settings you have. So let's see. Now I need to go find a washer for this, so that we can put our jet, and then we can put our bowl back on. So let's put this gasket on. Found the washer that I'll put into here, and the main jet number is a 230. So I'm gonna start off with the 230, and then we'll go from there. So you make sure don't tighten it too hard. Now we'll put the bowl back on. Now we'll put the hardware back on. So now we'll tighten all these down, and we'll go from there. Going to the top, we'll change the needle and everything like that. Alright, now that we got this carburetor just about fully assembled, we'll put the choke back in. So we got a fresh carburetor. Now we'll go to the needle. Since we're going a Taurus delete, we'll just chop these wires right there, so that way we don't have to remove the seal. Done, just like that. Cut it off. Now, to take the needle off, you pull the spring back, and there's a clip in there. You shake it, the clip will fall out. There's the clip. You hold it with your hand. Now you look which way you pull the wire out. There he goes. Now carefully let it go. And there it is, just like that. 2 Phillips screws in there. We'll unscrew that. So we'll take that out, and be careful not to lose little washers. Sometimes there's nylon washers, sometimes there's just metal small washers. There's a lot of dirt inside here. Not really sure how it got in there, but anyways, push the needle up, and you have a plastic washer on top. Then you have the C-clip, and mine's second from the bottom. We'll go to the middle. There's also a clip right there, nylon washer. Let's grab our new needle. We'll put it in the center, put it up against the table, just push it down, just like that. Now you'll hear a click. So now we'll grab the nylon washer, one on the bottom, one on top. So it's gonna look just like that. Since it was dirty in here, we're gonna spray some cleaner. Now we're gonna blow everything out. Let's drop this needle back in there. So you put your finger underneath the hole, so this finger, then you catch it. So that way you don't end up pulling this top washer off, because then it's hard to put it in there. And then you just let it slide back in there. Now we grab this thing. You see that hole right there? I tend to cover it up. Then you take the two little Phillips screws and you tighten it. Before we tighten the first one, we'll put in the second one, so the way it goes in. Alright, so that's good to go. Now what we need to do is put this all back together. Also comes with a seal that goes right there. We'll go ahead and replace it, even though this one looks pretty good. So now we'll grab the spring and the metal clip. So we'll slide the spring on here. There you go. Then you'll need to slide this. Alright. There it goes. Make sure it's seated down all the way. It goes in the groove. Bam. There you have it. Now what you do, this groove has to align with the groove inside there. You can see it right up there. So this will slide just like that. Then you can put your finger underneath here and kind of raise this back up slightly, and then guide the needle in. There goes the needle. And then this tab on the carburetor cap goes in there, is in place. Alright guys, check this out. Perfectly assembled, completely assembled. So now you got all these leftover parts. You can store them just in case you might need them, because they're not garbage, literally. I mean, you can reuse them if you want to. This gasket, like I said, it wasn't leaking, it's still good. Let's say if you take yours apart to go cleaning after it's been sitting, let's say during the winter, and then you rip that gasket, well, you got one you can replace it with. Same as this. These screws are still good. So alright guys, appreciate it. Stay tuned. It'll be going in that blaster. There's a little hole waiting for it. And yeah, trying to put this blaster all together. So stay tuned. We'll give it a first try starting it, and then we'll try to tune it and adjust it. If you guys like my videos, please like and subscribe. Stay tuned. Thanks for all your support. Leave a comment, something you want to see. I know somebody commented, wants to see how to remove strip bolts from the oil. See if I have a chance to get a video out on that. Thanks, and stay tuned.